Hello everyone and welcome back to Stacey's Adventures. So today I am going to speak about my experience of meeting Big Time Rush. Big Time Rush went on tour back in June of this year, and they announced the tour officially in January. So I went to the Birmingham and London show. And also had VIP, so I'll speak to you about the experience in Big Time Rush for the first time. And yeah, so it all started back in January. They announced that they were doing a tour for, for the Europe and UK tour, because it's been 13 years since they last came here. But I managed to see them back in 2011 when they came to London and Manchester. I noticed that they release the tickets because I have the fan thingy, so you can get tickets like a day early or whatever. So I looked online, definitely bought the London ticket, that was for sure, because it's about a 3-hour trip for me to London, and to see them again 13 years later in London would be a special moment. And it was at the event Apollo as well, the Hammersmith, that's why I thought that was quite cool. But anyway, so I bought tickets and I noticed that they had VIP. They had the VIP for the whole tour. So you had two VIPs. You had Gold, which is where you have a photo with them on your own. Or the Silver is where you have 3 other people or 3 other fans who come into your group, and you have to be a group of 4 to have your photo with Big Time Rush. So each fan would pick which member they want to have a photo with, essentially, and you all have a photo group together. And that was the only VIP available for the London. So I was like, do you know what? I'll get it. I would have wanted a photo with them on my own, but it's fine. So I booked the hotel for the Friday. So the plan was to go down on the Friday, see them, and then go on the Saturday. So months passed by, and then I noticed that obviously they were doing Manchester and Birmingham. So I looked at Manchester and see if there was any concert tickets or any VIP going. There was. But it was a bit more further from where I live, and I didn't really know how it would be able to get there or whatever. So then I looked at Birmingham, but I noticed that Birmingham had Gold. So I looked at tickets, and yeah, so then I was just like, do you know what? I might as well go to a second show as well. And it's quite nice because they had Gold for that show, so they literally got like a photo with them on my own as my first time meeting Big Time Rush. So anyway, yeah, so booked a hotel, booked tickets, and that was it. I've got 2 Big Time Rush shows to go to. So my plan for travelling was, I got the train about 6 o'clock in the morning, got to Birmingham about 11:30, and then got to the hotel. Luckily the hotel that I bought was next to the venue, which is the Birmingham O2 Academy. Never been to that one, and it was a nice venue, pretty small, and the amount of fans that turned up to go and see them, I'm surprised everyone fitted in that building. Put my stuff in the hotel room, and then waited outside, and I met a friend of mine who I still speak to this day. Her name is Kaylee. It was her first time meeting Big Time Rush also, and it was her first time seeing them live. I told her my experiences and how amazing they are. So yeah, so we got our VIP lanyards, which is this one. So this is what the VIP lanyard looks like. So obviously it's the gold one. So we're waiting outside to meet them, and the doors opened, and that's when my nerves started to kick in. I was like, I was trying to take deep breaths, that's all I can say. Went through, so if you guys know about Birmingham Motor Academy, there's a door that goes into like a small room, which is sort of like where like musicians and stuff, if they don't have a big fan base and are just starting, it's that sort of room, and it's quite small, but that's where the meet and greet was held. So you go in, have your photo done, and then you go back out the same door, but then go to the end of the queue until everyone is done in gold. And then it's the same for silver. Silver goes in. So we're like queuing down. So we're all in a single file line. And as we're starting to walk towards the backdrop of the meet and greet, that's my legs started shaking. I was getting so nervous, and I was like rehearsing what I wanted to say. I was sort of the next person to go in, and Elizabeth, who was the VIP host, she's like, you know, are you alright? Are you ready to meet them? I was like, yeah, just a bit nervous. And she was like, don't worry, they're absolutely lovely. You don't need to worry. And I remember people were saying to me, you know, like, if you're nervous and you can't speak, they'll start a conversation with you to make you feel comfortable. It was my turn to go in. So you go in one side of the backdrop, so you go in from the right and then come out on the other side. So Carlos was the first person, so the order from the meet and greet was Carlos, James, Logan, Kendall. So I said hi to Carlos first, and I said, oh, you know, me being an idiot, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna cry. And Carlos was like, you're not gonna cry. It's happy tears, right? It's happy tears. I was like, yes, it is happy tears. So I met him, and then I met James. He's like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, I'm very well, thanks, how are you? And he's like, I'm good. Then it was Logan, and the first thing that Logan said to me, before I even said hello, was, oh my god, I love your shoes. Now, I wore these bad boys. These are very bright pink Vans. Yeah, he was like, he's like, oh my god, I love your shoes. Like, they're amazing. And I was like, oh, thank you. I was like, thank you, Logan. And he's like, how are you? And I was like, I'm alright, thank you, how are you? And he's like, oh, I'm really good. And then I met Kendall. Kendall is my favourite. He has been my crush since I've known the band for about 13 years. I've obviously loved Big Time Rush since 2011, because that's when Big Time Rush came on TV in the UK. So I said hi to Kendall, and he's like, hi, how are you, darling? And I was like, I'm good, thank you. But I remember Logan called me sweetie when I left, and Kendall called me darling, which killed me. But yeah, so I got into the middle between James and Kendall. No, James and Logan. And I said, I was like, I have, can we do like a little group hug, please? And James was like, of course we can do a group hug. And I was like, I'm in love. I'm in love. So anyway, James, I'll put the picture on screen for you right now. So what it is he's got his arm, both of his hands on my shoulder, and he's wrapped his arms around me. And I thought it was the cutest thing. But what I didn't notice is Kendall has his head on Logan's shoulder, and I thought that was the cutest thing after I saw it. Because you can't see the photo, your meet and greet photo, until like 12 o'clock in the morning the next day. So then met Big Time Rush, said bye to them, you know, and then I come out, and then I waited for Kaylee to then finish her meet and greet with the boys. She comes out bawling. She comes out of the meet and greet, and she's just like sobbing. So I'm like speaking to her, oh, are you okay? And she's like, and yeah, so I'm comforting her. I'm like, do you want me to go get your bag? Grabbed her bag, and then we walked out, and I sat outside. We sat at the back of the queue, and we were just like, what just happened? Like, did we actually just meet Big Time Rush? As we finish our meet and greet, Silver then starts going in to do their meet and greet. And then after they had their meet and greet, that's when I think Gold went in the actual venue while Silver was doing their meet and greet. And we go towards the stage. I nearly fell over. If you guys have not been to the O2 Academy, there's like a little step towards near where the stage is. So as you go towards near the barrier, there's like a step. I didn't see it, so I'm walking. I think I walked run, and I nearly fell over. And he went into the barrier. We waited for poor artist to come on, and his name is Spencer Sutherland. He is talented. He was amazing. His songs are so good. Like, I've got some of his songs on my phone. I've got Chicken Little, which is like my favourite. We listened to some of his songs. They were the songs that he sort of played live on his set, and we were digging it. We were like, wow, he's good. Then they had the break, and then we were waiting for them Big Time Rush to come on, and the intro alone was just amazing. So they start their song off with Big Night. And it's like that sort of thing before they actually come on stage goes red. We were jamming away, loving life. I practically lost my voice by the end of it. And yeah, and then the one favourite part that I loved was Paralysed, where they come off stage and jump onto the barrier in front of you, and they basically just like vibe with you and everything, and it was amazing. After the show, we finished, we went outside, went back behind the venue, and we were waiting for the boys to come outside. Now, where we were standing, there was 2 tour buses, and there's like a gap in the middle, and they basically come out, said hello. They were putting their stuff in one of the tour buses, and what it is a tour bus there, and then there's like a gap down the side where fans can stay down there, or there's a gap round the tour bus where people stand over there. So basically, BTR are just surrounded with fans around each left, right, and centre. But we were standing where their door is. When the boys finished putting their stuff away, Kendall and Logan, I think Kendall came out first, and he said, should we do a group photo? So he takes a group photo. I'll put a picture up on here, and he does a group photo with all of us where we were standing, and then Logan comes a couple minutes later and does the exact same thing that Kendall's does, where he takes one of the fans' phones and takes a selfie. And yeah, so then the next day I head down to London. So rather than heading home, which is a 5-hour trip back, I was thinking I might as well just go down to London and go to my hotel, and then I can just chill out all day Thursday, basically recover my vocal cords, because it was gone. I could hardly speak. I sounded croaky. But when you save your vocal cords to see your favourite band again, it was worth it. And I had to do it all over again on the Friday anyway, because that's when I see them at the Hammersmith Apollo. Friday is the concert day for London. So I make my way down to the Hammersmith around about 12:30, 1 o'clock, because check-in for VIP was at 4:30. It was a little bit later this time. So we're all sitting outside the venue. The venue looks stunning just from the outside of it alone. It looked amazing. So we're all waiting outside, and I saw the tour bus pop up from. They popped up from what's it called? From the right side. They just drove in and then they reverse down to the side where they can park their bus or whatever. And I kid you not, girls were losing their shit, like, oh my god, it's them, and you could see them in the window, like, waving. Next thing you know, we're now heading into the building. We get our VIP lanyard, which is the silver one. So this is what the silver VIP lanyard looked like. It's this one. So we grab our lanyard. So we're moving down the line, and we're near the bar section. And we're like standing there waiting. And all of a sudden, out the blue, the boys turn up. And if you've seen the inside the Hammersmith Apollo, there is a balcony upstairs. So you can literally see up from the ground floor, and there's like the top floor where you can go on the balcony bit in the actual concert venue itself. And yeah, they were saying hello, waving over the balcony, saying hi. James had his phone out. And yeah, it was so cool. It was like seeing them again, and I was like getting nervous, and I'm like, I've literally just seen them. I saw them Wednesday, but I'm shaking. I'm actually like shaking right up there. I'm shaking. So then it was after Gold went in, did their thing, did their photos. It was Silver's next. And we're going up the stairs, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, I just had a panic attack. Like, I was getting so, I think it was like nervousness and excitement all blending in. Plus with social anxiety, it's difficult. So I'm like losing, I was like getting breathless, probably practically crying. And we're going upstairs, and then we were getting to the backdrop, and I had to speak to the girls, and I was like, right, we need to pick each member, so who's going to be with who? I was like, because I'm having dibs on Kendall. And then basically everyone wanted to pick who they wanted to pick. The two girls were like losing their minds. And I was like, it's alright, don't worry, like everything's fine. And they were saying, you know, are they really nice and stuff? I'm like, they're absolutely lovely. I said to the girls, did you want me to go first, considering I've met them already? And they were like, yes please. Which I had to, because Kendall was at the end. It's the same order as Birmingham. So it's Carlos, James, Logan, Kendall. So anyway, I go first, and Carlos is like facing directly at me. I was like, hello again, Carlos. He was like, oh, hello, you alright? I was like, yeah, I'm good. And then saw James. I was like, hi again, James. And he's like, hey, how are you? I was like, I'm good. And then when I went to see Logan, I was like, I said hey to him, and he's like, hey. I was like, Logan, do you remember these? And I showed him my pink shoes. And he was like, oh my god, hello, it's you. I was like, hey. He's like, how are you? And I was like, I'm doing well, thanks, how are you? And he's like, I'm good. And then I saw Kendall. I was like, hey again, Kendall. And he's like, hey. He's like, how are you, my darling? And I was like, I'm good. And basically then the photographer wanted to take the photo. It was a bit more like, get your photo done, go. So I say to Kendall, I'm like, oh Kendall, I was like, I'm standing like in front of him, and I said to him, I was like, oh, can you do the pose where you wrap your arms around me from behind? He's like, of course I can. And I was like, give me my hand. And after having that panic attack, I needed this moment, and I didn't realise how far I was from everyone else. So he took the photo, went out, and I was like, literally, him holding his arm around me. So he's got his arm like that, and obviously you can see it, but and I've got his arm practically, I'm holding on to his arm like that. And yeah, so then we get our stuff, and then go downstairs, and then basically just chill out. I spoke to Kaylee, I called her up, videoed her, and said, like, I told her what happened, and I go through the doors, and this building is huge. It is massive, and I didn't see what it looked like behind me until I got down, turned around, and it was just the balcony. Oh, it was stunning. The building and the architecture of it is beautiful. So I go to the middle of the stage, behind all these people, and I'm thinking, I'm like, do I stand here and watch it, or shall I find somewhere else? And I noticed down the right side there is proper nice space down there, and it's the barrier. And I was like, I can't miss this. I'm going to the barrier. I'll go there. Got to the barrier, and I was like, guys, I've made it. I'm at the barrier. I got barrier, and this is what I've got. So yeah, so I'm waiting. I'm standing there. My legs are aching. I was speaking to Kaylee. I was like, look at this view. And she was looking at. She's like, I'm so jealous of you. And there was this conversation that we had while we were waiting for Spencer Sutherland to come on. And she said to me, or I said to her, I was like, can you imagine if Kendall or Logan comes up to me during Paralysed? I spoke at the future. It did happen. So Spencer Sutherland comes on, does his thing, he comes off, Big Time Rush comes on. Same intro. The view was fantastic. Paralysed then comes on. So we've had all the other songs, then Paralysed comes on. Now, I was just like, this is not going to happen. Like, they're not going to come see me. Oh my god, was I wrong? So, I'm on video call with Kaylee, because she said, can you video call me while you're watching Paralysed? I was like, yeah, that's fine. So what it is obviously you can see me and you can see Kaylee's reaction. And halfway during the song, James is like at the front of the stage, seeing the fans and stuff. And then out of the blue, he comes off of the barrier and walks towards me. And he says hi to the girls next to me. And I got to touch his hand, which was a blessing. I touched his hand, it was great. And then he walked down the side towards the corner to go and see everyone else. He then comes back and goes back towards the other side. He walks to the other side of the stage or whatever. And then before the song ended, was saying hi to the fans, all that stuff, like singing to them and all that. And he looks over to me, notices me, and basically comes to say hello. He waltzes over and stands on the barrier in front of me. Now, the barrier behind the barrier, there's steps, so you can stand on it. So he stands on that bit and basically is like singing Paralysed, and it was the most amazing experience ever. Like, he was like full on in front of my face. I had my right arm round his waist, just so one, he doesn't fall, and two, I was just like, I was speechless. Kay was crying. She was like, what are you, like, what's going on? I do have a reaction, which is quite funny. I always see videos of them during Paralysed, and I was like, imagine being that close to them when I like singing it, and to have that opportunity and to experience that in person was just something I will never forget. I waited so long for them to come back to the UK, and to have that opportunity to not be able to meet them, but like just getting to see them on stage again was just the most amazing thing ever, and I would do it all over again. Hoping to go to a few more next year, because they have announced, well, they did say they're doing a tour next year. Not only that, they're doing a movie as well, which I'm very excited about, because their last movie was like 2013. But my dream is to be able to go to America to see them. But yeah, so that is my experience from the show. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you want to subscribe, you're more than welcome. And yeah, so I would speak to everyone later on. See ya!